Sports officials from Belarus have tried to forcibly repatriate one of their Olympic athletes after she criticised her team managers. Kristina Simonovskaya, a sprinter, told police at the airport she was afraid to fly to Belarus. Meanwhile, in the Olympic Stadium, Lamont Marcel Jacobs of Italy has won gold in the men's 100 metres. Fred Kerley of the US took silver, and the Canadian Andre de Grasse won bronze. Civilians have been fleeing their homes in 3 Afghan cities where security forces are fighting pitched battles with the Taliban. Residents in the southern city of Lashkargah said militants were fighting with soldiers street to street. And dozens of villages have been evacuated in southern Turkey as wildfires continue to rage across the region and further away in Europe. 8 people have now died.
Wildfires, made worse by high temperatures and winds, are affecting 3 million hectares of land in Siberia and Russia's Far East. A roadside bomb destroys a bus in western Afghanistan, killing at least 35 people, including children. Officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo confirm a second person has died from the Ebola virus in the city of Goma. And the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, addresses the parliament in Ghana during a visit to mark 400 years since the first slave shipment to America.
Nearly universal agreement among medical experts that the Delta variant is the worst mutation of COVID-19 that we have seen thus far. But why exactly is it so bad? Janae is here with a closer look. Janae, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Danielle. We just heard in Trevor's piece about officials saying that unvaccinated people are being overwhelmed by the Delta variant. And this week, we learned more about that variant, which is now responsible for 82% of COVID cases here in the U.S. Here's what we know right now. The Delta variant is extraordinarily more contagious than any other variant we have seen so far. So what exactly does that mean? Take a look at this data from the CDC obtained by ABC News on Friday. It shows Delta appears to be more transmissible than Ebola, the common cold, and the seasonal flu. In fact, the preliminary data show Delta could spread as easily as chickenpox, and that means that an infected person could possibly make up to 9 other people sick. According to the data, vaccinated people who become infected with Delta appear to have just as much virus in their nose as an unvaccinated person, suggesting it's possible for vaccinated people to spread the virus in some situations. The CDC is still learning more about this new variant, of course, but experts say despite so-called breakthrough cases, masking and being vaccinated are still the best defenses against the Delta variant. And according to still preliminary data in those internal CDC documents, risk of severe disease or death was reduced tenfold or greater in those who are vaccinated, and risk of getting infected at all is reduced threefold in vaccinated. So you can hear why parents are going to extreme measures to get their kids vaccinated. Whit.
Very important to remember there. Janae, thank you.
We begin with the coronavirus situation in Japan. Tokyo confirmed more than 3,000 new cases on Sunday. There is no end in sight to the spread of infections. Cases have risen by 1,295 from a week ago. Officials say 101 people are in serious condition, the highest figure since February. Tokyo is currently under a coronavirus state of emergency, and authorities are asking people to avoid non-essential outings. But sports fans hoping to catch a glimpse of Olympic athletes have been gathering outside venues. Many people gathered on a bridge to get a glimpse of the cycling BMX freestyle on Sunday. The state of emergency in the capital and Okinawa will be expanded on Monday to 4 other prefectures: Saitama, Chiba, Kanagawa, and Osaka. Across Japan, more than 10,100 cases were confirmed on Sunday. Prefectural governors have agreed that they urgently need to work with the central government to prevent an explosive surge in infections.
There's no time to lose to stop the spread of the virus. It's necessary to cap the flow of people and promote vaccination at the same time.
The governors are strongly urging people to cancel or postpone cross-prefectural travel during the summer holidays. They also hope to increase awareness of the effectiveness of vaccines among the young and middle-aged. We start Sunday's Olympic roundup with a men's 100-meter dash. Italy's Lamont Marcel Jacobs has won gold, setting a European record in the process. He's the first runner from his country to medal in the event. This was the first Olympic 100-meter dash since the retirement of three-time defending champion Usain Bolt. But Jacobs filled the void left by the Jamaican superstar with an electrifying performance. He won with a time of 9.80 seconds. The U.S.'s Fred Kerley took the silver, and Canada's Andre De Grasse claimed bronze, repeating his podium finish from Rio 5 years ago. China's Su Bingtian finished in sixth. He had stormed into the final by setting an Asian record of 9.83 in the semis. Su was the first Asian competitor to appear in the final since 1932. In artistic gymnastics, the apparatus event finals have begun with American superstar Simone Biles watching from the sidelines. But her teammate Sunisa Lee was looking to fill her shoes by winning a second individual gold. The 18-year-old shot to prominence by winning last week's individual all-around event, but she fell short in the uneven bars on Sunday, finishing with the bronze. Belgium's Nina Derval won gold. The 21-year-old is the two-time defending world champion in the event. Earlier in the day, USA Gymnastics confirmed that Biles would not compete in Monday's floor exercise final. They had already announced that she would miss the uneven bars and vault events. Biles has yet to decide whether to compete in the balance beam on Tuesday. Meanwhile, in the men's floor exercise final, Israel's Atem Dogopiat won his country's second ever gold medal. The first came back in 2004 for sailing. Myanmar's military leaders have appointed a senior general as prime minister of a caretaker government. This comes 6 months after the military ousted a democratically elected government in a coup. State-run television reported on Sunday that Senior General Min Aung Hlaing will take the leadership post effective immediately. The decision comes from the State Administration Council, which was established to run the country after the February coup. The Prime Minister-designate made a speech on TV where he announced a plan to hold a general election by August 2023.
I guarantee the building of a nation based on democracy and federalism.
He said the military would be fully prepared for the election. He indicated that power would be handed to whichever political party wins the poll. Turning to the fight against the coronavirus, he urged people to unite and join hands. Many public servants and healthcare workers have staged work boycotts to protest military rule. Medical services have effectively collapsed. At least 6,000 people in the country died from the virus last month. A local human rights group reports that 940 people have been killed in the military crackdown. Opponents of the coup called for an immediate end to military rule. The chances of winning broad support for the fight against the coronavirus do not appear strong. Staying with Southeast Asia, foreign affairs chiefs of the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations will begin a series of online talks on Monday. Topics will include China's increasing activities in the disputed South China Sea. ASEAN foreign ministers will meet on the first day. A draft joint statement obtained by NHK indicates concern over China's growing maritime activities in the South China Sea. China and other countries have overlapping territorial claims in the waters. Tensions remain high in the South China Sea as China has been militarizing islands in the region. Manila said earlier this year that more than 200 Chinese fishing boats were moored inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. At focus is whether ASEAN can send a strong message to deter China from taking such moves. On Myanmar, the delegates are likely to discuss implementation of a 5-point consensus on the country agreed on at the ASEAN leaders meeting in April. It calls for an immediate cessation of violence in Myanmar and sending a special envoy to facilitate mediation of the dialogue among all parties. Whether delegates can make progress to appoint the envoy is another focus of the talks. The series of meetings will continue through Saturday. They include the East Asia Summit, which will bring together the ASEAN nations and Japan, the United States, China, and others. The ASEAN Regional Forum, or ARF, will also take place to discuss security issues. U.S. retail giant Amazon says it has been fined a record $886 million by the European Union for failing to protect personal data. Amazon disclosed the fine in a regulatory filing on Friday. It was imposed in mid-July after the National Commission for Data Protection in Luxembourg ruled against the company. The EU's regulation on general data protection came into effect 3 years ago. It requires companies to seek people's consent before using their personal data. Amazon has its European headquarters in Luxembourg. The company says it believes the decision against it lacks merit. It says the interpretations of European privacy law are subjective and untested. Google was also fined in 2019 by France's authorities for breaching the EU's data protection rules. Those were the stories for this hour.